Hi there, I'm Corey, and this is your 45-minute functional movement class. In this class, we will go through a brief joint warm-up, a little bit of cardio, and then we will get into 7 different movements, different categories that are designed to take you through movements that you would use in everyday life to strengthen the muscles that you need to accomplish those movements, and then get you on your way to enjoy the rest of your day. So the things that you'll need for practice today are going to be some open space, which I've got behind me, and I also have my mat. If you are, you have a yoga mat, that's great. That would be a good thing to use. Or maybe if you're inside and have a hardwood floor, that's awesome. Or a rug or something like that. You could even use a blanket or pillows for when you're, lying down on the ground, just to pad any of your bony bits that are contacting the ground. The other thing that you may wish to have today is a yoga block or something similar. And then I'm also going to be using a chair for one of the exercises in practice. You could use a stool too if you have that. Or if you don't have either of those, I will speak to modifications to still be able to do the exercise without those things. All right, all that stuff is now out of the way, so we can start practice. Let's go. So I'm moving over into my space, and we'll start with our joint warm-up. So take your hands together, interlace your fingers, and then roll out your wrists. And do a little bit of disco warm-up to keep warming up all the joints in your arms. So lift one elbow up, and then lift your wrist, and then your other wrist, and then your other elbow. And then go again. Elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow. Elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow. There you go, and you got the disco wave. And then see if you can reverse. You do other elbow, other wrist, and wrist and elbow. Excellent. John Travolta would be proud. Okay, let go of that. Then reach your arms all the way out in front of you and turn your thumbs down. This is internal rotation. I'll turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. Then cross your right wrist on top of your left, interlace your fingers, and pull your fist toward your belly and see if you can pull it up and through. Don't force it. If it feels tight, then just go as far as you can go. Maybe you can eventually get your arms straight the more you practice. And then release. We'll go 2 more times like that. Maybe it's breathing in as you try and pull through, and breathing out as you release and push back forward. Last time, breathe in. Maybe you look up toward the ceiling or the sky. And then as you breathe out, you look down towards your toes. All right, release your hands, shake out your wrists for a moment, and we'll do it with the other side. So this time it's your thumbs pointing down, then it's your left wrist on top of your right. Interlace your fingers, then breathe in, pull your fist up and through and push forward, and then exhale to round and relax. 2 more times. Breathe in and breathe out. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Very good. Then take your hands to your hips and lift your shoulders up by your ears. Touch your earlobes. And then slowly bring them back down with control. Use your muscles and imagine you can actually pull them down your back. It's like you have a heavy coat or a cape on. Then lift your shoulders back up by your ears and then pull them down. Go slowly. 1 more time. Lift up and lower down. Great. Keep your hands here. Maybe step your feet wide and then look up toward the ceiling or the sky. And look forward again and look down toward your toes. Then look forward and up. And then forward and down. Just once more. Look up and look down. And put your head back on straight. Look to one side. Then pass through center. Look to the other side. Then go back to the first side. And the second side. Then get back into neutral. And the last one is to do tick-tock. So send your ear toward your shoulder, sideways. And then get your head back on straight. And then your other ear toward your shoulder. Get it back on straight. Just one more time. First side. And then pass all the way through to the second side. And then return to center. Oh, that always feels so good. That one's my favorite. All right. Now step your feet very wide and move your hips in the smallest circle possible. Almost so small it feels like you're not even moving. Then get a little bit bigger. And then keep going and take up the biggest circle that you can with your hips. And then pause and reverse the circle. Stay big and then move a little bit smaller toward mediums, and then get into the smallest circle possible, and then move back into a medium-sized circle, then into a large circle. All right, let that go. Step your feet together, take your hands on your knees, bend your knees a little bit too, and make circles with your knees. There may be some pops or little adjustments and shifts happening in your kneecaps. If you feel that, that's fine, as long as it doesn't feel like shooting, stabbing, or burning. And then reverse, go the other way. Excellent. Okay, the very last thing to do is stand up straight, place your hands on your hips, shift your weight into one foot so the other one can lift off the ground, and flex and point. And go 2 more times like that. Slow and steady, not in any rush, really exploring, and then circle in your ankle. See how things are feeling today, and then circle the other way. Then shift to the other foot, and we'll do the same thing. Flex and point, and flex and point, and then circle. Even a simple warm-up that just takes a couple minutes like this can do a lot of good. Then circle the other way and prevent or decrease the chances of any kind of injury. Okay, now get back onto your feet. You can keep your hands here on your hips if you want, or have your arms down by your sides. We'll formally open class with 3 7-second breaths. Perhaps you'll close your eyes just like I've done. And now let's breathe in just a little bit and then breathe out all the way. Now we'll start. Breathe in, 2, 3, going to 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Second breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Breathe in. 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And open your eyes and let's get into practice. All right, so the first thing up is cardio. We're going to do about 2 minutes of movement, and you'll be able to more or less choose what you want to do, but I'm going to offer something that you can do if you want to, which will be burpees. So if you want to start right now, you have something else you like to do, maybe it's your Turkish get-ups that you've practiced in my class or somewhere else, you want to get into those right away, you're already familiar with burpees and you like them, you have a variation that works for you, go for it. Or maybe it's just jumping jacks you want to do for 2 minutes, or jogging in place. Please begin. Now, if you are doing burpees for the first time or need a quick refresher, I'll do them with you and then get you up and running. So here's 2 minutes on the clock. Let's start now. So new burpeers. Here, lift your arms up by your ears, look up toward the sky or the ceiling, and then exhale. Place your hands down on the ground. You can bend your knees a lot. Step your feet all the way back into a plank pose, and then step your feet forward and stand back up. Reach for the sky, and then put your arms down, and that's the end. So again, the starting is the same as the ending. Standing straight, lift your arms up, place your hands down, step your feet back, step your feet forward, reach your arms up, and lower your arms down. Now you can make it more challenging if you want to. Lift your arms up, lift your heels, then lower your heels, hands down. Step your feet back, maybe bend your elbows a little bit like you're doing a push-up, then step forward. Reach up, lift your heels, and then arms down. Cool, keep going on your own. I'll play around with some variations and maybe talk through them as we go. We've got about 1 minute left. Maybe add a jump at the top. Maybe as your hands come down, you hop your feet back into plank. And you got to push up if you want it. Hop your feet forward. And then as you stand, maybe it's another jump and you just keep going. Let your hands come down. You do your push-up. You got it. You could also be playing for speed if you want to do these as fast as possible. Generally, I only like to go fast up to a certain point. So I'm trying to connect my breathing and my movement together. So every time I'm compressing or folding the front of my body, it's usually an exhale. And every time I'm making it longer, standing up, it's usually an inhale. Keep on going. You've got 3 seconds left. Can you finish up that last one you're on? And that is time. All right. I hope you enjoyed those. Or if you're doing something else, whatever that was. I'm definitely feeling my heart rate is up, which is great. That's what you want. All right. So maybe you take a quick sip of water if you have something handy or nearby. And then we will get into practice. So all the things we're going to do, it's the usual things, but I'm switching up the order a little bit today. So today we're going to start with abs and obs. Abs, obs. And then we'll get into pushing and pulling. That'll be arms and torso muscles. And then after that, we'll get into squatting, hinging, and lunging. And that'll be your 7 exercises. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll start with abs. So you'll need to lie down on your back. And if you need to watch first before you lie down, that's fine too. All right, so I've got my feet down. I'm going to take my hands behind my head and then arch my back. This is an important part because this is the starting position. You can see I'm arched. I actually have a lot of space between my low back and the ground. Then I breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm tilting my hips up and forward. At the same time, I'm pulling my ribs up and forward. So I'm making, kind of a parenthesis shape, like a boat. And then here, pause for a moment. Feel or even see your abs kind of pop up out of your shirt or out of the skin on your belly. So you can feel them working. And then slowly release and get back to the starting position of the back bend. Now the reason this is the starting position is because here your abs can be more or less relaxed, mostly relaxed here, so that you're moving them through the full range of motion from totally relaxed to totally activated or contracted. That's the exercise. I'm going to put 60 seconds up on the clock here, on my clock. Okay, and now together let's begin. I'm a big fan of using the exhale to come up. It's nice because for me it establishes a rhythm. And your rhythm will be a little bit different from mine because your lung capacity will differ from mine. Just like it does from if you're, the person next to you, if you're practicing with somebody else. Everyone is a little different, which means that everyone's practice of connecting to their body, of physical fitness, will be a little bit different. So if some of my cues in this practice for exercise will totally make sense to you. Some of them, it'll be, like about half right, and some things will be absolutely a different language and not work for you, and that's totally fine. Please take whatever does work, let go of whatever doesn't. Finish up one more, and release. Okay, now we'll get into obliques. So you can stay right where you are, pull your knees to your chest so your feet come up, and then move your knees over to the side. You can roll all the way onto your side, just like you are, sleeping on your side. And take your hands behind your head. You're like, oh no, the alarm's going off. Cover yourself with the pillow. And then lift the elbow that's up toward the sky or the ceiling, lift that up or open it up. And then rotate your ribs just a little bit up toward the sky or ceiling. Then take an exhale to pull yourself up and try and get your ribs up and away, or try and touch your elbows towards your thigh. And then inhale to relax and release. That's the motion for obliques. If you want to, you could also practice pumping your leg and try and touch your elbows toward your thigh or your knee. All right, you've got 60 seconds of this one because you've got 2 sides. We're going to do just the one side to start. Let's please begin. Now, I encourage you throughout this entire practice, once you have the idea of the motion from the visual of seeing me do it, to get into it in your own body as quickly as possible and start to make fine adjustments to activate and work the muscles that you want to be working here. So here we mean to be activating your obliques, which are the muscles that run between the bottom of your rib and down to your hip, like your side abs. So if you're not feeling those activate here, make some adjustments. Maybe that means making the movement smaller or turning your ribs a little bit more one way or the other. It's up to you to connect with your body. All right, and then release. Then rotate to the other side, flip to the other side. That's what I'm doing. So you can still see me if you want the visual aid. Lie down on your side. Get yourself set up, and I will start the timer on my side right now. Now you may also find that you are able to connect with your muscles on one side of your body more than the other. That's totally normal. It also does mean that when you identify those gaps in connection between your brain and your muscles, then it might be good to focus a little more on those. So that way you can bring balance to your body. It's my understanding that injuries often occur in everyday people and also in professional athletes. They occur often because there is an imbalance between strength, between the strength of two sides, or also the flexibility of two sides. All right, finish up this last one, and that's the 60 seconds. Oh, time flies when I get to chatting, huh? Okay, so you've done one set for either one. Now we're gonna right away come back into it for each one, so you get another go at both. Now for abs, if you want to make it a little more challenging this time, you might take your feet off of the ground as you curl up. You might touch your elbows to your knees, and then you can either rest your feet or just tap your toes down in between. But make sure that you keep the back bend happening when you relax so that your abs do relax for just a moment. Okay, here's 60 seconds. I'm going to start it up right now. You got it. Keep it moving. Oh, this adjustment of keeping my feet up is really working for me. I'm feeling my rectus abdominis quite a bit. I hope that you are too. All right, that's it. Now for obliques, we're going to do just 1 minute here. So you could do 30 seconds on one side or 30 seconds on the other. Or if you're like me, I wasn't so much feeling that first exercise, I'm going to make an adjustment for my own practice and do an exercise standing instead. So it's going to look like this. So standing up, I will take my arms out to a goal post and then reach my knee up toward my elbow, try and touch, and then step back down. And then other side. Now when I do this, I'm intentionally thinking of contracting on the side. It's more about getting my ribs down. It's almost like I'm trying to get my elbow down to touch my hip than it is about to just make connection between your elbow and knee. Cool? All right, 60 seconds on the clock starts now. You can hear me activating my exhale. Part of it is reflex, to be able to contract my body and make that arc shape. And part of it is intentional too. So I can get a little more contraction, a little more activation out of my muscles. And if you want to, for fun, you could always do, a double side. That's it. Keep moving. How's it going for you? That's it. You got it. Okay. Almost there. That is 13 seconds left. Sorry, I didn't give you the 30-second flip over for people that are doing it down on the ground. I apologize. I'll give you an extra 15 seconds at the end of this if you want. All right, my standers. That's the end of the time, so you can relax. If you were down on the ground, take time for maybe 3 more repetitions. All right, and then finish up. Okay, you might now grab a sip of water, and you get to move on with me into pushing and pulling. So here's where you may wish to have a block. That could also be a pillet, a pillow, or a rolled up blanket. I guess a pillet is a blanket and pillow put together. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to put it down somewhere in the middle of my mat and aim for my navel or my belt buckle to rest on top of the block, which notedly is very uncomfortable, but we're not going to be there for very long. The point of the block is for when I do bend my elbows and lower down, to actually try and touch my navel or my belt buckle there. Whether I go all the way down or not, it's not so important. It's meant to be a marker or a sensor for you. I often find when people are doing push-ups, new people that are newer to push-ups, they'll often stick their butt back, come on all fours, and think this is a push-up. It's not a push-up. It's not all the way there. You really want to think about pressing your hips forward, squeezing your butt cheeks together. So as you lower down, your spine is in a straighter line. All right, that's it. Okay, you got 60 seconds to play around with this. If you want to do the block, great. If you want to do it with knees down or knees up, that's awesome. I'm up for whatever variation feels right for you. You can always switch midstream. All right, let's begin. Good, how's it feeling to you? I love push-ups. They are definitely challenging, but it always feels like I'm getting some good work done. While you're doing them, you might think about your elbows being the operating force. You think about bending your elbows to lower yourself down, and then straightening your elbows down into your wrists to come back up. I know maybe logically that doesn't make sense, but perhaps kinesthetically it does make sense in your body. It always helps me to activate my pecs more. All right, that's time. So finish up what you're doing and shake your arms out a little bit. Oh, that's great. I feel it so much here. It's, pecs are right below your collarbones, kind of at the very top of your ribs. That strip. All right, I'm going to move my block to the side for our back exercise, which will be horizontal pull-ups. These are exactly what you think they are, so please do lie down. Reach your arms all the way out in front of you. That's the starting position. Your legs will stay heavy for this round. Then take an exhale to pull your elbows back behind you and lift your chest up. Look forward. Maybe you might attempt to look up, and then get back to starting position. Inhale. Hover your nose above the ground, extend your arms out in front. That's it. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Cool. I'll start the timer and let's go. Now, since it might be difficult to look at your screen with this exercise, perhaps you close your eyes part way or all the way as you move, and focus your attention on the back of your torso, what you think about as your back. And imagine your latissimus dorsi, your big wing muscles on your back that help you pull things to you, or pull your body towards something else. And see if you can sense them or feel them. Notice their boundaries as you work. Can you draw your elbows farther back like they could touch together behind you? Almost done. Oh, last one. And release. All right, come up to hands and knees or sit back on your heels for a moment. Shake out your arms. That's the first set for both of those, but we got to get back into another set. So we've got push-ups up next again for the second and final time in this class. So make your decision on how you want to do that. I really enjoyed using the block, so I am going to use it here. If you did use it the first time and you found that it was too low, you can always set it up a little bit higher. That's one thing that's cool about yoga blocks is you've got a few different settings. You know, you have a low, a medium, and a high. All right, so set yourself up and I'll start the timer and go with you. Let's do it. Maybe I'll go for full push-ups this time. You got it. How's it going for you? You got these? You're strong. Continue moving with your breath. The sync of breathing and movement is super important. And you must also add the third thing to it, which is intention. If you can focus on the muscles, you are intending to exercise with that movement. I imagine you're going to get a little more juice out of them. And please release. Oh, that was tough. 60 seconds of push-ups. I'm feeling the burn, definitely in my deltoids too. All right, one more round of back movement. So this is the horizontal pull-up one more time. This time for something different. Maybe you do lift your legs up every time you lift or pull up. I'll demonstrate that the first round, but let's get into it together. Please begin. I inhale forward and then exhale backwards. I like to bend my knees and imagine my elbows and heels can touch way behind me. They can't quite. That would be quite amazing if they could. But I do find it useful to imagine completing the line, even if it's impossible. Heels and elbows so close, but that way my muscles contract a little bit more than they might normally. And then I really do feel them beneath my skin. I hope that you're feeling your muscles too. Almost there. 4 seconds to go. And that's it. All right, good news. We're done with the groundwork. Now, make your way up. Take another sip of water if you like, and get your chair or stool. So here's what I have going on with my chair. We're going to be using it for squats. So you might start by having a seat, which I will do here. Then get your feet pretty close to underneath of your center of gravity. So my feet are about maybe 6 inches away from the legs. Then reach your arms forward, lean forward, and stand up. Then reverse. Reach your arms forward, bend your knees, stick your booty way back, and sit down. All right, now if that's something that you don't practice every day and doesn't feel smooth, easy, and repeatable, then I would say that's going to be where you'll start. If you're looking for a little bit more out of this first 60 seconds, and maybe practice lifting one foot off the ground entirely. Reach your arms forward, lean forward, and stand up. Try and keep that foot off the ground the whole time. And then reverse, stick your booty way back and have a seat. This is preparation for a pistol squat, one-legged squat. Let's do it together. Pick whichever one you want, and let's go. Now, if your seat that you might be using has arms, I would encourage you to try to use your own hands as little as possible, holding onto the arms or even the seat bottom, so your body can gain strength. Now, if you don't have a chair, you could simply be doing this in the air. Or if it's 2 feet, you could be working to squat down and stand up. You have 30 seconds left, whatever you're doing. If you're doing the pistol squat with me, work on keeping it just to that one leg. You'll have another 60 seconds for the other leg shortly. Almost there. 4, 3, 2. Can you get one more in? All right, that's time. Now you know what's coming next. You have the other side. So shake out your legs a little bit. And let's go. Now, if you were working on the two-legged squat or the two-legged sit, find a way to make it a little more challenging for yourself if you like. That could mean no hands. Maybe your hands stay on top of your head as you sit and stand. You could even do that with the one-legged. It's a little more challenging. So whatever you're doing, keep working to slowly lift off, and then same thing for lowering down. So you're always in control of the movement. Nine seconds to go. Last second, and relax. All right, you can move your chair out of the way. We'll get back to it in just a little bit. The next exercise is a single leg deadlift. I'm going to use my block for this one. With my block in my right hand, I'll step toward the front of my mat. My left hand, I'll put it on my hip just to give it something to do. And I'm stepping my right foot back into the air. And this is going to be the starting position. So it's just slightly behind my left, but hovering. Then I squeeze my butt cheeks and press my hips forward. Then, to get into it, I inhale to lower down and try and touch the block to the ground. If it doesn't quite reach all the way, you can always touch your own toes or your shin. It doesn't matter so much how high up in the air your right leg or right toes are. Then exhale to stand up, squeeze your booty, press your hips forward, and then repeat. Inhale down, exhale up. That's the motion. Let's begin. Now you might also bend your standing knee if you like, if you find you can't quite reach the ground. That's fine too. In addition to this working your glutes, really your standing glute, your standing butt cheek, and also your hamstring, you might also be feeling your stabilizer muscles in and around your ankle of your standing leg. I certainly am. Make sure when you stand all the way up, you do squeeze your butt. Ten seconds left. And if you do lose your balance, no worries. Just get back on track when you can. And release. Okay, shake out your standing leg. How was that one for you? Was that good? I hope so. Okay, and then let's go into the second one now. Please begin. Got my block in my left hand. There's my left leg that's going back and up. Keep on moving. Once you get into a rhythm, it can feel really good to try and hit all of those points in the movement, all the checkpoints, and then see if you can connect with your muscles while you're doing it. 3 seconds to go. And that's time. All right, so that's squatting and hinging. Now we have lunging to do. Today we'll be doing a step forward lunge. I'm going to use my block. You might use your block or pillow or blanket for the same thing. I'm putting it about mid-mat. I'm standing behind it. Then I take my hands to my hips, step my right foot forward, and lower my left knee down, and then step back. For today, we'll do alternating lunges. So then I'll switch to the left foot, step forward, and then come back. Cool? 60 seconds on the clock starts now. Now it can be fun to play around with pushing off from a different part of your foot. You might think of pressing through your heel and how that feels different from pressing through your toes. If you don't want to use the block or something for your knee, that's totally fine. I'd say continue to practice control as you lower down, so you barely touch. So there's little to no impact on your knee. That's something you might not feel today, but if you do it repetitively for many moons, that might not be fun. Joints can take a long time to heal. 1 second to go, and that's time. All right, now let's get right back into squatting straight away. You might use your chair, or if you want to practice freestanding pistol squats, you might do that. We'll do just 60 seconds for both sides this time. So I'll start the timer up at 30 seconds. I'll notify you so you can switch to the other side. All right, here it is. Let's begin. Oh, these always feel so good. If you are standing, some people come all the way down. To do these, you might need to use a hand to help you get down and get back up. It could also be, a block in your hand to help you reach the ground. There are some people that can go up and down without using their hands at all. I'm not yet one of those people. I can go all the way down, but the getting back up, it's tough stuff. Okay, that's a little past 30 seconds, so please switch now to the other side. And if it's not for you right now to go all the way down, that's great too. If you're in the chair, that's great. Move from where you are. Take 10 more seconds. Maybe that's 3 more repetitions. And then be done. Oh, I'm definitely feeling that there in my quadriceps. I'm going to move my chair over to the side and get my block for hinges. You can do these with me. Again, we'll take just 60 seconds here, so it'll be 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other side. So start it up, whichever side you have the block in, go for it. And if you do not have a block, you could be using your fingertips just to reach for the ground. The ground is very far away. You could reach for somewhere below your knee. Make sure at the top you are pressing your hips forward, squeezing your booty. Take one more repetition on this side, and then switch to the second side. Get into it. You're almost there. Practice is almost complete. There's just one more exercise after this, and you're done. Hurrah! Last one, and that's you. Okay, here's the very last exercise of practice. Your step forward lunges. Let's do them together to finish strong. Please begin. These are alternating, one side and then the other. For more challenge, or to keep your heart rate up, you can always lift your hands up higher than your heart, whether that's arms up, out to the sides, hands on top of or behind your head. That will elevate your heart rate because your heart has to work a little bit harder to push blood up through your arms and work against gravity. You're nearly there. 5 seconds to go. Finish your last repetitions on either side so you can even out. And you are done with that. Take a moment with me to step your feet wide. Lift your arms all the way out to the sides. Look up toward your hands, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, send your arms down, bend your knees a little bit, walk your hands down your legs, reach for your ankles, your toes, or the ground. Shake your head yes or no, or both, maybe so even, which is ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. It's the head side bend. And then bend your knees and come back up to stand. Step your feet together. Keep your arms at your sides or place your hands over your navel. Close your eyes. Take a short inhale and a long exhale. And we'll close practice with 3 7-second breaths. Through your nose, please breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Second breath. Breathe in. 3, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 6, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Inhale. 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your hands. Open your eyes. And welcome back. That's all I've got for you today in functional movement. I hope that you enjoyed practice, you had a bit of sweat, and you were able to connect with your muscles. And I very much look forward to taking time with you to have class again sometime in the future. Until then, farewell.